Peace, YouTube. It's Kareem Samdi back again with another video. So, today we're going to get into the 7th chakra, the crown chakra. So, this is the final chakra dealing with the body. But there's also more chakras beyond this. But today we're going to focus on the last chakra needed for your spiritual enlightenment to get out the matrix. So, the crown chakra is symbolized by the ultimate connection to your higher self. It's pretty much something that works in tandem with the third eye and also the rest of the other chakras. But the same way that I explained the third eye, where it's the ultimate connection to your spiritual guidance, to the crown chakra is where you realize that you were never separated from the higher self in the first place. This is the knowing, the true connection, the realization, self-realization. It all dwells here. When you realize that everything's been an illusion, the matrix was an illusion, this body was an illusion, you being separated from your God element was an illusion, and you realize it was all right here, that's where the crown chakra activates. Realizing that you have everything that you need within. That's the crown chakra. The crown chakra's element, it doesn't have an element. Some say it's ether. Some say that the element of the crown chakra is space, but no, the crown chakra, in my personal experience, doesn't have the element. The element is really just you at the end of the day. You know, you are the element. This is where you realize that you are everything. You know, your crown chakra is the ultimate embodiment of knowing. And its color could be all colors, violet, or it could be white. But I personally feel like it makes more sense for it to be all colors, because the color white repels and violet would be limiting it. So all colors or violet generally would describe the crown chakra. Whenever I visualize in my meditations, I usually visualize multiple colors, or I visualize violet when I work with the crown chakra. And the body part that the crown chakra is connected to the brain, the pituitary gland, which is also connected to your pineal gland too. So that means it's still connected to your soul. This is the ultimate realization of your soul, right? And it's located on the top of the head, which we also call our crown, or it's located above the top of the head. Pretty much any energy around the top of the head, that's all your crown. Your hair, the reason why they call your hair a crown is because it's linked to the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is your own personal enlightenment, where you realize that you know. The mantra for this chakra is I know. Where you have full realization. You have full realization of your purpose here and your mission here, given to you by either the God that you believe in or the God that you discover within. Either way, since there's multiple paths to light, there's multiple paths to enlightenment, multiple paths to heaven. You know, whatever you believe in as the ultimate realization, self-actualization, there's multiple paths to it. This is where you find it. You find it in the crown chakra. You know, whenever you actualize, this is where it is. And like I said before, it's where the Kundalini energy, it finishes rising and it spews out to bring you up out of your body into your spirit body, your higher self. Because obviously this body, you know, is limited. It decays, it disappears. But the forever you, this chakra connects you to that forever you. It connects your spirit body to that forever you, your soul. So this is what the crown chakra is. It's personal enlightenment, realizing that everything you ever needed was all within you. You know, it's connected to the ultimate center of knowing. It's connected to knowing purpose. It's connected to knowing and experiencing the Godhead within. This is what they say when they say all in one and one is all. The microcosm, the ultimate harmony of the microcosm, balancing all 7 chakras, you know, balancing all 7 seals. This is where it all culminates. It culminates in the crown. And this chakra is the connection to the greater worlds, the worlds beyond this matrix, the worlds that actually exist, because this matrix is a fantasy, this matrix is an illusion. But this is the connection to the real world, the spirit world, the highest worlds. And it brings you a higher spiritual connection with others as well. Because here, separation is done for. There is no separation once you activate the crown chakra and you balance it properly. When you get to the crown chakra, duality disappears. And when it's balanced, there is no duality. There's no duality within. You take your lower nature and you take your higher nature and you just create what you call nature. You create your balanced nature. You harmonize all your energies here, and this is where you are able to ascend. This is where you know your spiritual purpose, and you're not fucking around anymore. You know, when I activated my crown chakra, because I had a lot of stuff bogging down my crown chakra when I first started my spiritual journey, you know, and that came with a lack of doubt, or it came with doubt, and it came with a lack of direction for myself, because the more that you doubt yourself, the more that you block your crown, right? Doubting is telling yourself that you don't know where to go. And as we all know, just like the Bible says, you know, when you go against God's mission for you, you know, you will suffer affliction. And so that's what happened to me. I suffered affliction, and in suffering my affliction, I was still purified, because obviously we all go through lessons. And also in the Islamic mythos, it tells you that when you do suffer, it's Allah's way of guiding you back to your mission, back to your purpose, back to his ultimate goal for you. And so, and that all applies, because if once you realize that God is within, you realize that your higher self is putting you on paths, it's putting you through lessons. You know, even if you decide, or you decide to go against what you're supposed to do here, your higher self will always bring you back, and it'll teach you lessons in order to really bring you back onto the path. And this chakra is your cosmic rhythm, and it's where the center of your truth lies. It's the truth of everything within, the truth of the universe within. And once you understand the universe within, you can understand the universe outside of you. This is where all of that energy lies. It's an understanding of the spiritual work that you came to do here on Earth. That's what the crown chakra represents. And I always knew, ever since I was young, I always knew I was supposed to do something like this. I always knew I was supposed to guide and lead others. I always knew I was supposed to create, you know, to write. And I kept telling myself that this wasn't it wasn't enough. I kept distracting myself doing other things, you know, but it took a lot of spiritual ass whoopings to really get me into shape and tell me, no, this is what you're supposed to do. This is who you're supposed to be. And so having that moment with yourself where you reflect and you realize that certain things aren't working, right? That's when you really begin to understand the crown chakra, understand the higher self. The higher self will never steer you wrong. You pay attention to your dreams. Your dreams are all answers telling you, putting you back onto the path. You pay attention to the people around you, the environments around you. What are those environments? What are those people bringing out of you? Understand what they're doing. Understand the symbols that are around you, and use them as means of transformation. Everything that we go through is alchemical. Even if you feel like you're in a low vibrational state, that's because a part of you is low vibrational. A part of you doesn't know. So understand what's going on around you, and then use that as a lesson for yourself. Because once you change what's going on within, you can change the world outside of you. Everything starts within. I know that every time I change a part within me, my outer world changes. That's how I'm able to be a god of my own reality, and you can do it too, right? And this is the divine light, spiritual knowing, and how to integrate that from the inner self to the physical self. Like I said, you change what happens within, inside, you can change the whole universe. As above, so below. That's a law of correspondence. And the law of mentalism states that the mind is all, and all is the mind. So if you change your mind, you learn how to control your mind. You learn how to control your mind by deprogramming the subconscious mind and reprogramming it to your favor. You learn how to control the mind by learning about the chakras and controlling your emotional state. You harmonize those two things, you can control everything in reality. I would never steer you guys wrong. Learn about the chakras, learn about the subconscious mind. You do those things, and you won't need YouTube videos anymore to get your answers, because you'll be getting them from within, and you'll be changing your reality from within. This is the connection to the soul, and this is ultimately where it doesn't matter what spiritual path you're on, it doesn't matter what religion you're on. This is the ultimate destination, and the ultimate destination is personal enlightenment, personal fulfillment. You know, we're all seeking that, either consciously or unconsciously. This is the crown chakra, self-realization, self-actualization. So when you have a healthy crown chakra, you have access and control over the subconscious mind, access and control over your reality. You are connected to the divine. You're connected to spirit guides, your spirit guides. You're connected to the cosmos and spirits in general. You can use all of those things as programs to control your reality. Full control is an example of a balanced and healthy crown chakra. Understanding and knowledge of where to go and what to do is a balanced crown chakra. You know, when you transcend the laws of nature and you really understand that everything is within, because like I said, you take the lower nature, you take the higher nature, and you just create nature from within. That's when you transcend the laws of nature, because you're no longer bound to your lower nature telling you, that you need to do all of this just to get by, sustain the physical body. You're not a slave to your lower self anymore. You should be a slave, or you should be a master, really. But you should be a master in serving your higher self. That's really all it is. And this is why in the Bible it says that, when Jesus was being tempted by the devil, it says that he chose to serve his Father instead of caring about this world. And like I said, when it came to the heart chakra, when you balance out the heart chakra, you understand this chakra as well. Because in the heart chakra, you have to make a decision whether or not you are going to worry about your lower nature and everything in this matrix, everything dealing with your ego, physicality, versus your higher spiritual purpose. And there's a part in all of us that says, I don't give a fuck about the matrix. I don't care about all these things going on outside of me, because I know if I control myself within, if I take care of myself within, I stay on my purpose within, my spiritual purpose within, and follow the God within, or follow the God that I believe in, right? The more you tell yourself that, regardless of wherever society is trying to steer you, regardless of whether your parents are trying to steer you, regardless of wherever your programs, whatever you're programmed to do is trying to steer you, the people around you is trying to steer you. Once you realize what the fuck you're supposed to be doing, you take care of yourself, that's when you connect with the crown chakra. It's all about you at the end of the day. And when you take care of yourself and you worry about your own spiritual transformation, you can take care of others, because you first have to love yourself enough and be disciplined enough to understand your spiritual purpose and be in line with that. And once you understand and you have your shit together spiritually and physically, then you can talk about information to other people, right? You have to work on yourself within first. Deal with all your shit, come to terms with all your shit within first. When you can do that, that's when you have that spiritual connection. That's when you have that crown online. So this is all spiritual knowing, and you'll be joyful once again, and the people around you will be joyful too. And instead of having faith and having belief, you will have an inner knowing, and everything that you do, you'll be able to lead others, because you can only lead from that which you have experience with. So once you have experience rising up to the highest form of yourself, then you can help other people around you rise just by being around them. This is all about light at the end of the day. Here, all that action that was in the darkness has been transformed into melanin for the brain, and that melanin in the brain has become light, because you've taken that and you made it action. You activated the action within you, activated the melanin within you, and turned it into light. This is alchemy at its finest on a scientific level going on within. You take the darkness within you and you transform it into light, taking base metals and transforming them into gold. Essentially, when you do that with yourself, that's when you're able to really activate the crown chakra, go beyond this matrix, go beyond the physical body, beyond the physical reality. But it all starts within. Like I said, balance out the lower chakras. If your lower chakras, if they fall out of balance, right, the crown chakra will fall out of balance too. So you have to always be vigilant. Even once you balance out all your chakras, you still have to revisit them every now and then, because when you first get through the chakras, you are learning to let go of things that were stuck there, that went to the subconscious mind. But when you learn how to control the subconscious mind, and you learn about chakras, and you learn how to control your emotions and your feelings too, now that you have that knowledge, you have that education, you won't let things sit there to where they start to block your chakras, where they start to stagnate your energy. Once you realize you're in control of your energy, you're in control of your mind, you're in control of your thoughts, you're in control of your reality and your emotions, nothing's going to get stuck in your chakras as long as you don't let it. Because obviously everything else, we let it out of our own ignorance, right? Out of our own programming. We let things happen out of our own ignorance, our own programming. But when you have consciousness and you have control over this part of yourself, nothing can affect you unless you let it. So that's a healthy crown chakra right there. And I noticed this for myself, because when I balanced out my crown chakra, everything became easier for me, to understand, at least, right? And when I became more in tune with what I'm supposed to be doing, everything actually got harder physically because I had to really align. See, once you make that connection with the inner God within, right? Or you make that connection with the God that you believe in, whatever path you're on. Like I said, I'm always going to say this because, depending on who's watching my video, we can all find light if we just apply things that other people are giving us and we make it personal for ourselves, right? So change the narrative to suit you. But, once you make that connection, right? You don't want to steer off that path. That connection is going to be what brings you peace and satisfaction. So you have to, if it's giving you light, follow it. If it do all the spiritual work, follow it. Don't steer off the path. That's what you're meant to do. And it because when you do it, you find peace, you find love, and you find solace in everything that you do. So it's important to be cognizant of that because we don't have time to waste. You never have time to waste in your life. When you waste your time, that's when you start to kill yourself, right? If you aren't on your purpose, you're basically dead. You are essentially dead. And some of us did come here to be dead. So I'm not gonna really, talk about those people really. But for the people who do have a consciousness, right, and a spiritual consciousness, in whatever form it is, for people who do have a spiritual consciousness, you need to be on your purpose. You need to be actively seeking to know what your purpose is. Doing the spiritual work every day, meditating every day, educating yourself every day. Whatever you need to do, taking care of that spiritual part of yourself. The more you focus on that part of yourself, the more everything else lines up. You don't need to worry about this matrix. I promise you that. Set up whatever you need to survive and get by, and then do the spiritual work. Focus more on spirituality than you focus on anything else, right? If you follow a certain, religious belief, but you have, you're doing the spiritual side of things, follow that entirely and make it the focus of your life, especially if it brings you light, right? If it brings you light, following Allah in the Quran and Prophet Muhammad, right? Do that. If it brings you light, following the Kabbalah only, do that. If it brings you light, following the Bible only, do that. Hinduism only, do that. Buddhism only, whatever it is. If it brings you light, follow it and make that the focus of your life because that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what's going to give you the answers. That's what's going to activate the melanin within you and connect you to your higher self, connect you to your spirit guides, connect you to all these things that will transform your life for the better. It'll connect you to everything that you need. But don't sit here trying to force yourself to to connect with the lower nature, right? The lower nature, the ego is going to try to get in the way and bring all your focus to your physical reality, bring all your focus to your environment, bring all your focus to trying to be something in this matrix. This matrix don't mean shit. Doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire. Doesn't matter whether you're a legend for years to come. All that shit is gonna pass away. I promise you, it won't matter. Doesn't matter how famous you get. Doesn't matter how much clout you get, how many people notice you, how many likes you get on Instagram. None of that matters. What matters is whether or not you're transforming at the end of the day. Because you're either transforming or you're degrading. There's no in between. You can't stagnate in this universe, right? There's only transformation. So you're either transforming and elevating your consciousness or you're transforming and degrading. And sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to really begin to rise up again. So this is the crown chakra. This is how we do it. All right. The underactive crown chakra, you won't have any joy or any spark, and you'll have a lack of focus, really, a lack of memory, a bad memory, a lack of spiritual focus, a lack of spiritual purpose. You won't know what your purpose is. You'll be too focused on things in a matrix. Your ego, you'll be very egotistic because you'll be so your spiritual energy will be so stagnated, so blocked that you'll be focused only on the ego, especially if your lower chakras like your root chakra are imbalanced. Like I said, those lower issues, they can still trickle up into the higher chakras if you don't balance out the lower chakras. So like I said, with the root chakra, if you haven't balanced out your survival and your security, you're gonna have issues in your higher chakras too, and that contributes to a bad focus because you're so focused on surviving, so focused on getting by, right? So you balance out the root chakra, balance out the lower chakras, and every chakra below the crown to really get an understanding. All right. The crown chakra can sometimes be the trickiest chakra to really keep in balance because if something goes out of whack below it, the crown chakra is going to start compensating for it. So be cognizant, and this comes with consciousness. This comes with elevating your consciousness, right? Eventually, you'll get to autopilot where you'll be so in control of your emotions. You'll be so in control of your mind, so in control of reality, where if your chakras do get out of control for a little bit, it may not even be for more than a few minutes, versus sometimes where we carry chakra issues for years and not know it. But the more you raise your consciousness, the more you educate yourself, the more you strengthen your spiritual consciousness, connect to the universe within, connect to the God within, the less that becomes an issue for you. A lack of spirituality is also associated with a blocked crown chakra, an underactive crown chakra, right? A lack of spiritual connection as well, being unable to connect with anything spiritual, anything that brings you light. And you'll have very little intuition. Your intuition will be on zero pretty much. And another thing I want to get into is you'll have denial of your purpose, denial of anything spiritual, denial. Like for those people that you see that they deny anything that challenges their perception of reality, they have a blocked crown chakra, because if they can't even question or evolve their consciousness in a way that makes them feel like they don't know anything, right? Any know-it-alls, they have a blocked crown chakra because they're blocking off their ability to know more, right? Because this deals with the idea of knowing, and your lower self will never know it all. Your lower self needs the higher self to live anyway. So any denial, really, denial of anything, denial of self or denial of the truth, because the crown chakra is the ultimate truth of your higher nature, right? Any denial that will definitely block the crown chakra. Cynicism and a fatalistic outlook on life, right? Feeling like this is all that there is, and that any sense of like what's it called? Too much nihilism, right? Feeling no purpose. That's a blocked crown chakra in essence, right? So because you're not really in tune with your purpose, you just want to end it all, but you don't exactly want to understand your mission and actually contribute so you can transform. So any stagnation, right? Whenever you feel like you're just counting down the days until you die, or whenever you feel like you're just counting down the hours because you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing, you're at a job that you're not supposed to be at, you're at a place you're not supposed to be at, and you just constantly keep denying your intuition. Your intuition most likely was telling you, get the fuck out of this job. Your intuition was most likely telling you, get out of this environment. But the more you deny it, the more you block that crown, you block that spiritual connection. See, your subconscious mind is where God speaks to you. It's where your higher self speaks to you. So if you're not understanding those symbols appearing to you every day, whether it's through the way that somebody treats you, through signs on a billboard, through commercials, if you don't understand synchronicity, in general, if you don't understand your dreams and how your dreams always show you the answers to your questions in your physical life, right? This is why I made that video on dreams before, because it's key. It's very key, right? If you don't understand any of that, I implore you to start looking into synchronicity. And actually, I'm gonna make a video on recognizing synchronicity in general. But if you have a problem recognizing synchronicity and dealing with your intuition, and you're stuck, any feeling of being stuck is a block crown chakra, because you're always getting answers. There's a constant communication, because you're not separate from God. You aren't. We all have a higher self, and our higher self is connected to the ultimate reality, connected to the Akashic records, where we can pull our answers. You just have to see it. You just have to believe in it. And if you don't believe in it, you're blocking it. And because eventually your belief is going to transform into knowing. The more that you begin to look into those realms and look into those possibilities, your belief will transform into a knowing. That's what I did. That's why meditation is so key. That's why educating yourself on spiritual things is so key. That's why I say spiritual education and whatever beliefs that you have is very key. Because if that's a part of what's bringing you light, then you need to follow it until you actually transform that light into action for yourself, to begin transforming your reality. And that's what we really need to be in tune with at this particular time, right? Separation is a blocked crown. And like I said in many other videos, we are all under separation because the Godhead has decided to understand itself Man decided to eat the fruit of knowledge so he can understand what being like God is, being created in the image of God. Man ate the fruit of knowledge so he can have ultimate knowledge and understanding of what makes God God, what makes a God a God. And so that is why we are experiencing the separation of countries, separation of consciousness, separation of race, separation of sex, anything that creates a you and me type of thing. That's why we are experiencing this. So, but if you have a separation in general, you don't understand unity and you haven't let go of duality, because as you move up the chakras, you're going to realize that you're connected to everything around you. But if you have this constant separation complex, then your crown is blocked. So we need to be cognizant of that. And this is for the Hoteppers, especially because there's a lot of separation being preached in those communities, right? And there's a lot of separation being preached in religious communities too, to separate the believers from the non-believers. So I really want to call all of you guys out, because we need to really understand that that's not going to get us anywhere spiritually. But you need to understand it first for your ass, because if you don't understand it, then how can you help anyone else to understand it, right? Separation was never preached. It was never a symbol being conveyed in any ancient text, because all separation leads to is a block crown and spiritual illusion. It brings you back to ego. Ego tells you that I'm like this, you're like that. This is me, that's you, right? Instead of saying, you know what, I understand you, you understand who I am. And really, we're on different paths, but we're both experiencing the same light. That's a different outlook. That's a different perspective, right? So we need to really be conscious of this. And another thing I want to say when it comes to underactive crown chakra, right? Underactive crown chakra, essentially, you'll have a spiritual abandonment. So if you were spiritual and you just abandon it, or you close it off, right? Because a lot of us close off spirituality because of fear. We see spirits, we experience things, and we get scared of it. Some people get scared of questioning their own reality because there's so much cognitive dissonance that they don't want to let go of the matrix, right? They don't want to let go of everything that they've been taught. That's a crown blockage, right? You are blocking your crown if you know something's not true and you are still believing in it. That's a blocked crown chakra at its finest. If you know that you're being lied to, you know that there's more to question about your reality, more to question about what you've been taught, everything you've inherited, all the mind control that you've been given, and you just don't continue to follow that path. See, I was having a conversation with somebody about this today, actually, in which a lot of people, we've been mind controlled in so many different ways as a society at this particular time in 2022. The average human being has been mind controlled a lot, and a lot of us, we know it. Like just knowing that let's take this for example. Most people in the U.S. know that the U.S. government is corrupt, but very little people are actually doing anything about it, spiritually or physically, right? Because they still feel like their vote's going to change something, right? So that's just one example, and that's not even using religion as an example, because a lot of people question their religion because they were born free. They were born free thinkers with their minds free, doing what their intuition told them to do, living the way that they knew they were supposed to live. Everybody was born doing that until they got mind controlled, especially if they got mind controlled by religion. A lot of people, if they didn't feel like they had to follow a religion, they wouldn't. I guarantee you that. Unless of course it brings them light. But even then, a lot of people would still do religion or have religious beliefs, but find a spiritual side of it that's not so limiting, that's not so binding of the consciousness, because that's not so political, right? Any racism or sexism is a blocked crown chakra, because if you don't understand that at the end of the day, we all come from darkness, right? We all come from pure black, right? If you don't understand that, then you constantly live in separation. You constantly see things as separate. If you don't understand that, then your consciousness is blocked. In the beginning, there was darkness. Then light came. And they say that in many different ways, in many different scriptures. I don't even have to give out Um, I don't even have to provide that many references because it's like it's just obvious at this point, you know. But you can still look into it because almost every scripture, every source scripture says the same thing in different ways. So it's important just educate yourself on ancient systems in general because they're all telling you the same thing. Actually, get that book, Darkness Visible, because it takes exactly what I just said and it puts it in perspective for those who are still questioning, you know. And like I said, sexism, because gender is an illusion. We are all connected to the divine masculine and feminine, but we are all connected to the great mother at the end of the day, right? That's where we all originate from. So everything is all singular. And so any sexism will block the crown chakra. Any denial of the divine feminine. Overactive crown chakra, you'll have a superiority complex. You'll look down on others, right? Because you'll be so dogmatic in your thought process, you might think that your way is the highway, right? You might think that your way is the right way. An obsession over one person, obsession over a way of thinking, any general obsession, that's a blocked crown chakra, overactive crown chakra. Overthinking, frustration, and any kind of anxiety is a blocked crown chakra as well, because you're not understanding that you're in control, and truly you haven't let go of the ego, or the ego has too much control over you, so it's raising that overthinking and anxiety energy up to block you from your intuition. So if you think too much, that's a sign of a overactive crown chakra. Frustration is also overactive crown chakra, because if you don't realize that everything is taken care of, then you are going to be frustrated. You are going to be constantly seeking to change your reality through unnatural ways. You'll be psychotic, and you'll have an unrealized power, because when you recognize that everything is within you, the wealth is within you, the prosperity is within you, the transformation is within you, the light, the enlightenment is within you. All of these gods and goddesses and deities, they're all within you. And if you just don't recognize, you know, or even then, if you feel like you just can't control your reality, you feel like life is happening to you and life isn't happening for you, you have unrealized power and you're blocking your crown. See, everything that you need is within. You just have to know that. You have to know that, and you have to make it a reality. See, we can all take charge of our lives. Most of us are just scared, and I promise you that, right? If you're not doing what you need to do every day, what you know you're supposed to do every day, you're not even giving yourself a chance, then you are blocking your crown. Take that leap of faith, because you don't have much time left. A lot of us don't have time. Actually, all of us don't have time. The time is now. So you'll fall into manic depression with an overactive crown chakra, migraines. Your sexual expression will be very out of whack, and sometimes it'll be completely, it won't serve you. It'll be chaotic, destructive. You know, you'll feel distant from others because your ability to connect with your higher self and your intuition is blocked. So that'll also block the crown, and it'll block the sacral chakra's ability to connect to others as well. Alcoholism is also another sign. Any kind of drug addiction is a blocked crown chakra, because, see, drugs are supposed to take us closer to our spiritual essence, but we're not supposed to use them over and over again like we do. So if you smoke too much weed, you are blocking your crown chakra. Everything that weed gives you, you can find within, as long as you learn how to meditate and you know how to bring that peace, bring that everything that weed gives you, that feeling of freeness, liberty, joy, the ability to laugh, all those things, and just overall feeling good. You can generate that within. Same thing with alcohol. What alcohol gives you can generate that within, but you have to learn how to do it. See, I can sit here right now. If I went to meditate right now, I can take myself to the ultimate, most peaceful realm and stay there forever, just by closing my eyes and really just feeling it within. See, we can all feel it. The same way that you can imagine something erotic and you can generate sexual desire, lust, and honestly pleasure within, right? If you can do that just by visualizing something that you find attractive, what makes you think you can't do that with all the other things? If you just take yourself back to a moment where your mom really made you feel loved and cared for, that's generating love and care within. Where somebody that you love, you know, a partner, or, you know, really made you feel loved and cared for, you can generate that within. Even just feeling that for yourself, you can generate that within. You just have to see it. You just have to feel it. And, that's where imagination and visualization comes from. But a blocked imagination, right? It won't really be able to do that. And so that's another thing I want to get into. An overactive crown chakra has too much fantasy in it. So if you have a deep porn addiction too, this is why I talk about nofap and semen retention. A deep porn addiction, your erotic imagination will be on blast, but you won't be able to connect with a real woman here. Connect with a woman right in front of you. And if you're a woman addicted to porn, you won't be able to connect with a man properly right in front of you. Because, like I said, you can have it all right here. You can generate it all right here, all within. But if you're just so focused on fantasy, then you're telling yourself that you can't. You're relying on it. Any reliance on anything outside of you is blocking your crown. The need to feel accepted, the human need to feel accepted, is all mind control. So anybody who is desiring fame, popularity, desiring people to give a fuck about them, sympathy, that's essentially blocking the crown, because you have it all within. You don't need others to accept you. Accept yourself. You accept yourself. Others will accept you by nature because they know that you're at peace with yourself. You know who you are. The need to be popular means that you just don't have an acceptance of yourself. You need validation. But when you have a properly balanced crown, you become the king of your world. You become the queen of your world. That's why it's called the crown in the first place, because you recognize that you're a king. Kings don't need to validate themselves with people outside of them. Kings can self-validate. Gods can self-validate. Queens don't need to validate themselves with people outside of them. Queens can self-validate. Goddesses can self-validate. That's how you gotta be. This is what this crown chakra business really is all about, right? You don't need anything outside of you. Once you reach here, you reach enlightenment. You understand that everything that you've been seeking was right there, but you just didn't see it. So you don't need to seek anything. See, it's all about you at the end of the day. It's all within you at the end of the day. You just have to see it. It's all within. I can't say this, I can't say it enough. That once you recognize that you have it all, you're not going to be playing by this matrix's rules again. That's when you turn the cheat codes on. That's when you take that red pill, right? But if you can't see it, then you have work to do. So learn about the chakras. Get books on the chakras. Get books on controlling the subconscious mind, right? Any illnesses with the brain, that's a block crown chakra. Stress, anxiety, depression, an imbalance in the brain hemispheres, and alienation, isolation, and into extensive periods. It's all the block crown. Gems that deal with the crown chakra could be quartz, amethyst, diamond, platinum, and herbs that deal with the crown chakra: frankincense, sage, juniper, rosemary, lavender, mugwort, gotu kola, lotus, blue lotus. Another thing I want to get into is the deities dealing with the crown chakra: Buddha, Shiva, Odin, Zeus, Osiris, Sarasvati. Actually, I have an experience, because when I was balancing out my crown chakra, I spent an entire month learning about the crown chakra, connecting. And while I was doing that, I was connecting with the Buddha, and I realized I was the Buddha because I had dreams. I had astral travels where I was becoming the Buddha. See, this is why Eckhart Tolle said in The Power of the Now, don't just worship and follow the Buddha, become him. Everything that the Buddha did, you can do. This is why Jesus said in the New Testament, anything that I can do, you can do with the power of God. You can always do it. See, all these deities, all these spiritual figures, they are all describing concepts within you that you can harness within yourself. So I understood that with the Buddha. That's why I became the Buddha. I know I'm the motherfucking Buddha, and you could be one too. So, and that's really what we need to understand. None of these things are outside of us. They all represent different parts of the Godhead and energies that we need to focus on within. But they don't necessarily exist. There's no deity out there, or no person out there watching your every move, right? Maybe the Buddha was a real person. I don't exactly know that yet. I just know that I'm the Buddha right now, and that's real. So until you can say the same thing when it comes to these deities and these spiritual masters that you're dealing with, until you can say the same thing, you're not really tapping into the energy, right? At first, yeah, you wanna look at the energy and understand it, but ultimately you want to deify yourself by becoming that. That's why I call myself Kareem Samdi. I call myself Kareem Samdi because I fuck with the energy of Baron Samdi right here. I recognize that he is within me, and I recognize that I'm in control of the underworld. I am the lord of the underworld. I am the lord of the heavens too. So I'm bringing that energy into me just by changing my name. And my first name means the most generous. It's a name of Allah, one of the 99 names of Allah. That's already a name of a God. And that's the God that I am, Kareem. And so that's essentially what self-deification really is, you know. And you can self-deify yourself without even changing your name. Just you want to create that within. So how to balance the crown chakra? Meditate. Meditate, self-reflect, and realize that it's all within. If you can do that, that's it. That's key. Meditate and self-reflect. That's really all it is. And for an overactive crown chakra, if you want to balance it, you got to use the color red and ground yourself again. Use the color red, ground yourself again, connect with nature. Everything I told you to balance out the root chakra, do that with the crown chakra too. And if it's underactive, you want to use the color violet, and you want to use a lot of crystals and crystals with the color violet. So amethyst, right? Amethyst, diamond, quartz, whatever's violet or purplish, use it for the crown chakra. And you can also use quartz because clear quartz amplifies the energy of crystals. So if you really want to get deep into it, you can use that too. And that's the video. So I hope it motivated you guys. I hope it inspired you guys to really look into the crown chakra and balance out yourselves within and realize that you have everything that you need, everything you could ever become, all the energy that you want to become. You have it all within you. You don't need anything in this matrix. You have it all right now. Once you see that, then that's when you begin to realize yourself, really. I wish you all luck in your journey. Peace.